good question, Rory. Thanks. I think from my perspective, at one stage it looked like we could have potentially had 40 overs, and I think within that period, felt like we'd have been able to create 9 chances on the surface like that. So in many ways, I think actually the weather's robbed us all of a fantastic final day's Test cricket, which is a slight shame. I think I'd be lying if I won't say India were probably in the driving seat going into today. But on the wicket like that you get a couple of wickets in a cluster and the game can turn on its head. Final day, the pressures of batting last on the 5th day wicket. Things could very, very quickly have fallen in our favour. And we've certainly believed that we'd have been able to create 9 more chances. So, if we'd have been good enough in the field and taken those, then we could have been sat here 1-0 up. But unfortunately, the weather's won.
Do you feel like you at least end the game in a bit of a brighter spot than you were after first innings, in that the last action that we did see was building a lead and then hunting wickets? Is there a bit of positivity about that, or how you assess the sort of dressing room?
Yeah, and I think actually we grew into the game very well. I thought that after our first innings we were well below par. We felt, having played and batted on it, came off thinking 250 on there would have been a strong first innings score, or at least par, and it would have made life a lot trickier for India in their first innings. That being said, I just still think we bowled very well. We probably bowled a little bit wide to start with, but after lunch we came out and we found a really good line, asked very good questions of the defence, and showed our class with the ball. There were a few glimpses of what we're capable with the bat in the second innings. I thought we played with a better intent. We looked like we were really enjoying and thriving in the environment, and you could see guys a little bit more relaxed, a bit more clear about how they wanted to go and play, and certainly feel like going into the next Test match, if we can carry that forward, then you'll see some better performances.
Obviously, you'll have discussions about the team in the coming days, but Virat has just said on TV that he feels the template and the balance of his side is what he thinks is right for this series now. We talked about before the series that you have a question to answer with balance, and I just wonder, over the last 5 days as captain, whether you are happy with the balance or whether that is something you might look at again.
I think it's something that we will continue to keep looking at. Not something that we want to try and find something settled sooner rather than later. But ultimately, I think on conditions and where we're going, we might have to alter our side slightly. We might not. We might turn up at Lords and see things very similarly. But as always, you want continuity. Something that we haven't had, whether that be to rest and rotation, whether it be to COVID, to injuries, a number of other factors. There have been a lot of obstacles for us to overcome as a side. There might be more in the future. We just got to be adaptable, got to be pragmatic, and the guys that get the opportunity have really got to keep looking to stand up and try and win games for England.
Cheers, Rory. John, we'll go Dean and then John, please. Go ahead, Dean.
Joe. Which side do you think will go to Lords in better spirits? Do you think the fact that you managed to get back in the game and deny India, who had made most of the running, puts you in a sort of better mood than them?
I think both sides are very similar. I think there'll be a lot of positive for both teams to take. Go into Lords a lot more confident than we would have if we'd have performed how we did in the first innings. So we know there's a lot to work on. We know the areas that we need to be better at. We need to catch better, take our chances in the field, and we need to make a big first innings runs. It's something we've spoken a lot about. You've heard me harp on about time and time again. But we're capable of doing it. It's those big partnerships that we didn't quite get in the second innings, but I think you saw a better tempo and a better template of how to play Test match or bat in Test matches. And that's as well. We're under pressure.
It's probably fair to say that the pressure on you to score the bulk of the runs is fairly self-evident. How are you coping with that? Obviously, you did quite well in this game, but could you do that much longer?
My job as an England batter, batting at number 4, That's, your job is to go and deliver and to score big runs, and that will never change. Whether we're 250 for none, or for 300 for two when you walk out there, or 50 for two, it's the same. You go out there and you're trying to score as many runs as you can, put your team in that position to win a game or chase a score down, and that will never change in my eyes.
Okay, we'll go to John and then Alan.
Joe, hi. Do you have a selection policy, or perhaps more accurately, a rotation policy for Broad and Anderson in this series?
Not as such. I think we'll look at, like I said, we'll consider things going into this next weekend. We'll make a call on that going into the 2 days and the 2 days prior, to the game starting, and look at the conditions and pick a team accordingly.
It's the first time we've spoken to you about since Jofra's news emerged. I mean, obviously a significant blow for him, but also for the team. Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely good for Jofra. I think at times he's come under some harsh criticism, which is, I personally believe is unwarranted. He's clearly been battling with a severe injury that's an obscure one that's been hard to define, and I really hope that he can get himself fit and healthy again and enjoying his bowling again. At times it looked like he was going through a lot of pain, and hopefully now he can he can get through some hard rehab and come back and show everyone what a fantastic player he is, because he's going to be a serious performer for England across the board. There's no doubt about that. I'm a big fan of his, and I know that when he's fit and he's at his best, that he's going to win many Test matches, as you've seen in his short career so far.
Okay, we'll go Ali, Tim Wigmore. Go ahead, Ali.
Hi, Joe. I was just wondering if you could have a word about about Ollie Robinson's performance. Beyond after the new ball, it felt like you turned to him, perhaps more than Stewart even at times in that inning. So it must be great, especially with the Jofra news, that you've got a guy coming through and performing like he did.
Yeah, I thought Ollie's bowled extremely well throughout the game. He's got a unique set of attributes. He's got a very high release point. He makes things happen. He gets the ball to zip around, and his accuracy throughout this game was exceptional. I think more than anything, it was about the end and trying to find the right ends for each bowler. He seemed to find good rhythm at the bottom, where it was quite tough for everyone else throughout the whole game. It was quite strong wind, and it somehow clicked in very well for him, and managed to do a brilliant job there. And showed what he's very capable of doing it at this level. In 2 Test matches, he's shown everyone how skillful he is.
And just in terms of the comeback from what happened at Lord's with his debut, what does that tell you about him?
Well, he's certainly a very strong character. He's had to learn some very tough lessons. I think he's taken that on board, and he's come back into the team and again performed. But seems to have grown as a person as well.
And sorry, just one more for me. I'm just wondering, are you able to add players for the second Test, or is the squad settled? And also, is Moeen Ali not the person that would balance this team, allowing you a spinner and 4 seamers with a decent batting lineup?
I think in terms of selection, it's something that we will look at in the next couple of days. It's a question that we need to pose in terms of if it was that we're going to bring, we'd have to look at from a COVID point of view and see where we were at with that. But I can't answer that right now, honestly.
Hi, Joe. Just on Zach Crawley, obviously scored that brilliant double century last year, but I think he's averaging 11 so far this year. Have you got any thoughts on his issues, and is his place safe for the second Test?
Listen, I think with everyone, I look back at my career early at certain stages, and the game does test you. It really does. You have to keep finding ways of first of all making sure it's as secure as you want it to be. But ultimately, you have to be a very strong character, and I think Zach is certainly that. He's someone that's got great maturity at a young age.
And he has to keep looking at bringing that to the forefront of his game when he goes out there. Keep looking to go and play in the manner that we all know he can. He's shown everyone that he can perform at this level, and next time he gets out there, he's got to make sure that he believes in that, and he really enjoys that opportunity to go and make big runs again.
So is he going to play at Lords, or is Haas an option?
Like I said, in terms of selection, we'll talk about selection over the coming days and have real clarity going into the game.
Okay, we'll go Stefan, and then Stefan skip. So we'll go to George. Last question.
Hey, Jay. You mentioned that you wanted to improve the catching, fielding. How do you do that specifically?
I mean, we certainly put the practice in. We catch a lot of balls in practice. I think more than anything, it's trying to just have an element of calm in there, and trust and belief in your own ability, which again can be hard in pressure situations. It's something that, like batting, it can take one shot, it can take one catch, and the world looks very different all of a sudden. So it's something that you just, as a player, you just need to make sure you're not panicking on, reminding yourself that you're doing all the hard yards and making sure that you are, so that when that next opportunity comes around, you're giving yourself the best chance. But it's very easy to fall into the trap of we've dropped X amount over this last period, and letting that affect you mentally. I think, especially at slip, it is such a mental thing. Having done it for a long period of time now, if you can find a way of staying relaxed and trusting your technique there, you're certainly in a better place and frame of mind to take the next opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks everyone. Tomorrow we're looking at going to Silverwood as a follow-up at around 11:30. We'll confirm later on. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.